We are now on the bass clef worksheet. At the top it should say Chapter 2, Bass Clef. So we learned last time that the treble clef is also known as the G clef because that note starts on G. The bass clef looks like this, either half a heart with two dots or a sideways frowning face. Make that a little darker so you can see it. This is also called the F clef or bass clef. And it is called the F clef because these two dots here go around the F line. So this line here is F. Now what you're going to do, similar to the last one, you're going to draw 5 bass clefs on the staff here at the bottom of your page, and you're going to put a dot on the F line, just like that, 5 times. Now we're going to talk about the notes that are on the bass clef. All right, in the spaces, we have A, C, E, and G. And that, an acronym for that is All Cows Eat Grass. Every time we go over note names, it's going to start bottom to the top when we do acronyms and whatnot. So, the lines are G, B, D, F, and A. Here's F on that line that's in between the two dots. Good boys do fine always. Or whatever acronyms you like. Another one is gummy bears don't fly airplanes. Same thing as before. You can find, if you know where one note is, such as F in between these two dots, you can find any note by just going forward and backwards in the alphabet. When you go up, you go forwards. When you go down, you go backwards. So we're going to start with going up. Here's F. After F in the alphabet is G. We hit G, so we start right back over at A, B, C, and so on. You can go backwards as well. Here's F. Before F comes E, then D, C, B, A, G, F, and so on. So you're going to do the same thing you did with the treble clef. You're going to find the notes and identify the note names. So this first one is in the top space. Top space is G. So you're going to put a G there. Next one is in the third space. 1, 2, 3. Third space is E. It's going to put an E there. Then on these ones down here, you're going to write a bass clef on each line. The top letter here is either H, Q, or W. H is for half, Q is for quarter, and W is for whole. That tells you what type of note to use. The bottom letters tell you where to go. So that first one says E, there's E, it's third space. Next one says E, same place. Next one says D, third line. The next one is...
Teachers, please excuse interruption again. We are now ready for freshmen with the last name A through M. All freshmen with the last name A through M head down to the gym.
Picture day. So it's the same thing. It's going to be review. Any of answers can be found earlier in this packet or in the previous treble clef packet. There's more practice stuff at the bottom if you want to try that. Now we're going on to eighth notes. That should be at page 13. At the top it should say 2.4, write eighth notes. Now, from before, we had our whole note, which got 4 beats. We have our half note, which got 2. We cut it in half again to make a quarter note, which is 1 beat. Now we have add a flag, and that is an eighth, that's an eighth note, which only gets a half a beat. We're cutting it in half each time. So 8th note, and it gets half of a beat. There are two ways to write it. You can write it by itself like this, or if it has another one it's connected to, it's going to look like this. Those are 2 8th notes together. 2 8th notes, 2 halves equals 1. That's a quarter note if you put those together and combine them. The next one says draw these notes. First one is an 8th note by itself, and that's what that is. The second one says 2 8th notes connected with a beam. That's what these are. Next one, it says draw a quarter note. That's what that is, 1 beat. Then a half note, 2 beats. Then a whole note, we double it, 4 beats. Then you're going to do similar things to before on the bottom of that page. On page 14, top should say 2.5, identify notes above and below the staff with ledger lines. So when the notes get too high or too low to fit on the staff, we artificially extend the staff, make it bigger, so that we can fit more. And those are called ledger lines. You add a little line above, you can add 2, 3, however many you need above or below the staff. So we're going to look at the examples here. We have a treble clef example. Remember, every good boy does fine. So E is here. Right before E, in the alphabet, because we're going down, is D. So we have D, E, F, so on and so forth. Back up to E, F, A, C, E, facing the space. When we go up, we just go forward in the alphabet. E, F, G, here's the ledger line. A, now we need the space. B, another ledger line. C. I went farther than what this says. You do the same thing with the bass clef. Here's F, G, A, B, C, G, A, B, C. You can go even further down. Here's D, C, B, A for the treble clef. You can go further down with the bass clef. Here's F, E, D, C, and so on. You can go as high or as low as you need. You just add the ledger lines. Next, you're going to identify the notes that are in these 2 staves there. Next are sharps and flats. And we're going to use a keyboard for this. A sharp looks like this. No, it's not a hashtag. This means the note goes a half step higher than what it is. So, for example, if it is a C sharp, here's our regular C. We're going to go 1/2 step here. Right here is our C sharp. So you're going to go 1 to the right, or 1 higher. And this can go either to a black key or a white key, depending on where in the keyboard it is. So for example, if we have an E sharp, we're going to go 1 to the right. There's no black key, so we just go straight to the key here, which is the same as F. So E sharp is the same as F. So this can be either F or E sharp. You do the similar thing with the other thing that we're going to learn, which are flats. Flats look like that. And that means you're going to go to the left. 1 to the left, which is lower. So if we have a G flat, here's our G, go 1 to the left, here's our G flat. And similar things, if you have an F here, which is an F flat, doesn't have to be a black key because there's nothing in between. Here's our F flat. Now, you are going to name the keys that are listed there. Remember where C is. From there you can figure out, going up or down, where the sharps and flats are. Go up, there's C sharp. If you actually go down, that would be D flat. So this note has two names. The next one, 2.7, write sharps and flats on the staff. It's on page 16. When you write them with a letter, you write it after. When you write it on the staff, you write it before. So with sharps and flats come before the note and after the letter name. Finally, we have, this is not on your worksheet, but it's good to know, we have a natural. A natural cancels out sharps and flats. So if you see this on your page, then right after you see this, that is no longer sharp. On the last page, we have what's called enharmonic equivalence. This is similar with the sharps and flats. So let's say, for example, we have an F sharp, and that's this key here. Let's say we also have a G flat. That's also this key here. That's called an enharmonic equivalent. They're just the same thing, they're just called different things. So, for example, number 1, we have A flat. A flat. That is going to be the same as G sharp. So you're going to write G sharp in that one. Next one is B flat. Here's B flat. Same as A sharp. So you're going to write A sharp. Then at the bottom, you're going to rewrite the following music using flats instead of sharps. So that first one is an F sharp, which is the same as a G flat. The next one is G sharp, same as an A flat. You're going to continue that with that whole thing. And that is a bass clef, and sharps, and eighth notes.